Good morning, everybody. Thank you all.
Thank
you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for being here. So I just want to say again, we're very excited to start to feel like we're getting back to normal. So this is obviously our sophomore group. But see, we're not going to call you sophomores anymore because you all are now juniors. Do you feel a year older already? Hopefully so. But we're going to talk a little bit about the summer program, obviously, the Summer Academy, and how that's going to operate for this summer. But we're also going to kind of do a little bit of a recap on some of the things that we went over in new student orientation. We feel like it's been such a long time since we got to see any of you and get to know any of you. So first of all, I just want to reintroduce myself. I'm Keith Brink, and I'm the director of the Upward Bound program. So again, it's so great to see our students, and we're excited also to not only have some of our current students, our current students here, but also a handful of brand new students. So new students, welcome to the program, welcome to Upward Bound. One thing that'll be a little bit different for you during this orientation is that you'll have some extra paperwork, but don't fret. We're going to help you go get through all of that. We'll talk about that. And I would also encourage, if you can, new students, if you will just stay back at the end just to make sure if you have any questions about some of those forms, because you'll have more forms than everybody else to turn in to us. But we'll kind of do, like I said, a recap of kind of just about what Upward Bound is about, so that the new students will get an opportunity to hear that, and students will kind of do a recap for all of you that we did all the way back last year. And of course, this is going to be your very first summer with us, and so we'll talk about that, even though it's going to be a little bit of a different type of summer. But before we get into everything, I want to make sure that we introduce our staff. So again, I'm Keith Brink. I'm the director of the programs, but we have our assistant director, Lacey Gephardt. And Lacey is the one of new students that you've probably been interacting with a lot through your interviews, and you might have also interacted with some of our advisors. We also have over here, this is Vicki Hodges. Vicki Hodges is our academic coordinator. For those of you who remember Edison Williams, who was with us last year, Edison moved on to a different position within the university. He's actually with the law school, so we're very excited to have Vicki with us. Some of you may have actually remember Vicki as your instructor, your virtual instructor last summer. So some of you may already know Vicki, but Vicki's been with us for a number of years as an instructor. She's taught a lot on the college level, done multiple things, many things, but we're so excited to have her as part of our Upward Bound team as our academic coordinator. And then we'll talk about Angel here in a second. She's not with us, but she's with us in spirit, and we'll introduce her in just a moment. But where is Doris? Doris Guevara. Doris, if you want to stand up. Doris is our Upward Bound 2 advisor. So we'll talk a little bit about the difference between Upward Bound 1, Upward Bound 2, and Upward Bound Math Science. But we always think of ourselves as one big family, but Doris is our Upward Bound 2 advisor. And then Melinda, there's Melinda. Melinda Heater is our Upward Bound Math Science advisor. And then Angel is actually in a nice location, as you can see. She's enjoying herself at the beach, rejuvenating. But she wishes she was here with us, but you'll get a chance to meet Angel this summer. If not sooner, I know some of you interact with her all the time if you're in Upward Bound 1, because she is our Upward Bound 1 advisor. So Angel will be back with us, but she's just out enjoying her time at the beach, which is for all it is of. But again, she wishes she was here. So again, I just want to welcome all of you. And again, before we get into the Summer Academy, I know some of you, this will be a little bit of a recap, but I know for the new students, we want to make sure that we talk a little bit about just what Upward Bound is. So we always want to emphasize that Upward Bound is a program. It's a college preparation and access program. It is something that I think you will find is kind of a great family atmosphere. We are made up of different students in grades 9 through 12. So we're getting our brand new 9th graders who will be our rising sophomores this summer, all the way through 12th grade. But our program actually serves Northwest Arkansas. So we have different school districts, which we'll talk about here in just a minute. But all of our programs are funded through grants from the Department of Education. So one of the wonderful things about that is our program is free in the sense that there's no charge to you in any sense. Doesn't cost anything to be part of our program. Everything that we provide for our students free through the grant funds that we get. So that includes things like tutoring, it includes our room and board in the summer, it includes any trips we take, food that we eat in the summer, all of those things, all those activities that we do. And we'll talk a little bit about stipends, but it also allows us to provide stipends or participant stipends for students as well. You also, when you get to be a high school senior and prepare for your transition into college, you get to do something called the Bridge program, which allows us, our grants allow us to provide actually up to 6 credit hours of college here at the University of Arkansas. And you can take that anywhere. If you end up coming and staying at the University of Arkansas for your college experience, or if you go on somewhere else, you get to take that with you. So we say it's free. It is free from a monetary standpoint, which is great. But we always say that there's a caveat. You get what you put into Upward Bound. You get out of it what you put into it. And so it does cost you some time and commitment, but it will pay for itself over and over again because you'll get support from our staff, you'll get academic support, you'll get social support, you get opportunities to participate in lots of things that you may have not got to participate in, and prepare yourself for college and to fulfill your goals that you want to do once you achieve and actually graduate from high school. So all of those things I think are very important. We'll talk a little bit more about it, and Lacey's going to give you some information on just exactly how our program operates during the school year and beyond. So again, our goal in Upward Bound is for our students to be successful in high school, but we're going to prepare you in high school to go and also be well prepared when you enter post-secondary education, wherever that may be. For some students, it could be starting at the Northwest Arkansas Community College. For other students, it might be starting at MIT or Princeton. We have students that go all over the place, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go along.
Awesome. The next thing, oh, it's all good. So Keith was talking a little bit about how we're kind of one big family, one big program. But if you're wondering, what does UB1, UB2, Upward Bound Math Science really mean? A lot of it depends on which school you're attending. So we write grants for the federal government, and we have what we call target schools. So depending on which school you attend, kind of means which of our grants you will fall under. And then obviously our students that are in the Springdale School District, you could be in any of the 3 programs. So, and that kind of helps ensure if we have lower applications out of certain schools and we have higher applications out of a different one, then we can put Greenland students, just to make sure that all of our programs, we can put Springdale students just in any of the 3 programs, and that just kind of makes the program evenly competitive throughout all of our schools. We also have a website. I'm sure a lot of y'all maybe have seen this. The nice handy thing about our website is the calendar, I think. So if you're ever needing a reminder about dates or looking for a flyer that accidentally ended up in the trash can, you could see, like today, we're at the Summer Academy for Rising Juniors. And if I click on that, I can see there is our flyer with the updated map of our new location. Oh, I did also want to mention that Keith Brink and I are fully aware that we're wearing the same shirt. It was accidental. If you're thinking that we're total nerds, we are, but the shirts are not the reason that we're nerds. So I just wanted to mention that to y'all. But that's our website, ub.uark.edu. If you're ever needing a reminder on any of those dates, there's some good info on there. But yeah, so what do we do? Keith told you we're a college preparatory program. We're all about helping students get ready for college, but we have to have a game plan for exactly how we're going to do that. Some of you have been with us for a year, some of you are new, but none of you have experienced a normal year. So we're getting into kind of what our normal looks like, what we're hoping to go back to this fall. So we have Saturday Academy meetings once per month during the fall and spring semesters. They last from 9:30 to 2:45. And we do classes and seminars. For once you get to your senior year, we'll do a lot of workshop time where we'll actually be writing those college scholarship applications and working on your checklist to make sure you've got everything you need for college. We also come out to your schools once a month, and we do a school visit out there. And so depending on which school you go to will dictate what time and where we're going to be. So if you're at Springdale, we'll be in the counseling center, and you can drop by sometime during your lunch. If you're at Mountainburg, they're awesome, and they let us meet in the little conference room in the office, and they're like, oh, you can keep them as long as you want. And I'm like, yes. So we get to spend a lot of time with y'all, but we come out to the schools once a month. We also have lots of extra activities like campus visits. We want to take you out to visit different colleges and universities so you can get a vibe for their campus and see, could you imagine yourself there? We do cultural events, service projects, group activities. Some of those are optional. So if you wanted to come out to Tricycle Farms and volunteer there, planting and learning about the gardens there, that's something that in a normal year I try to do at least once a year, but that would be optional, not required. We also have an amazing tutor staff that Ms. Vicki Hodges oversees. And so if you're a student and you're like, man, I am really struggling in this class, I don't know how I'm going to pass it, we can get a tutor for you. Or if you're a student and you're like, I'm in AP history and I really want to get at least a 4 on my AP test, like I need a tutor for that, or I want to bring up my ACT score. We have lots of students that are in tutoring. It's completely free to our students, one-on-one individual tutoring. We also have tutoring to help out with ACT prep, and we'll also pay for you to take the ACT as many times as you want to. So those things aren't cheap, and we want you to take it as many times as possible. We're going to talk a little bit more about our hybrid COVID-safe summer that we're going to have this summer, our hybrid. But I also wanted to speak to what our normal summer looks like, so what you can look forward to for next year. So typically we do have a 6-week residential summer academy where students live on campus in the residence hall the first 5 weeks of the program. Students will typically go home over the weekends and check back in on Sunday nights. We start typically around mid-June and end at the end of July. And then the 6th week of the program is a 3-day, 2-night trip, typically to St. Louis, Kansas City, or Dallas. And that's kind of a reward trip. All of our students that get C or higher in all their classes and don't get into any behavioral trouble in the hall, they earn that trip. We do, like I said, classes in math, science, labs, reading, writing, ACT prep, all sorts of stuff. And then we also have extracurricular classes. So like this summer, we're going to have juggling and art. So you can, I'm going to ask you on your green cards to indicate which of those 2 classes you'll want. We'll talk a little bit more about that with the paperwork stuff. And then, of course, the trip. And parents that are here, we like to let y'all know that we take the safety and the supervision of your students very seriously. All of our activities are supervised. Our residence hall staff are very background checked, and leading up our residential staff is Dennis Tolliver, who's been with us. I want to say this is going to be his 14th summer, and so we take your child's safety very seriously. That's kind of what it looks like for a normal summer. Like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about what this summer is going to look like here in a bit, but I wanted to speak on that. And then Keith mentioned the big payoff at the end of the Upward Bound program, I think, is the Bridge program. So that will be the summer after you graduate from high school. We'll work all through your senior year to make sure that you meet all the requirements to be able to earn the Bridge program, where Upward Bound will pay for you to take up to 6 hours. So that's your tuition, your fees, your housing, your food, your books, your supplies, your goggles, all your study, anything you need, we'll pay for it. And we'll also help connect you with a work-study job on campus. And you know, typically for every student, that's about a $5,000 scholarship at the end of your Upward Bound experience. And we can start off your college career and your all your college grades off with a really positive start. So that's some of you, that's review, but we wanted to kind of get back and talk a little bit about what normal looks like for us. I'm going to turn it over to Doris, and she's going to talk about the commitment we're asking from you, what we expect from our students. I don't know if she needs this microphone though.
Good morning, my name is Doris Guevara and I am an advisor. I would like to talk today about the students' commitment. So we're going to talk about general conduct and our expectations from our students. Remember to maintain at least a 2.5 GPA. And the University of Arkansas requires a 3.0 to attend the Bridge program. Also maintain a good attendance and work hard while you are here. Call before if you will not be able to attend or to come a meeting or event. Set and achieve the goals of enrolling in and completing a 4-year bachelor's degree program at a college or university beginning the fall after high school graduation. Communicate. I think to be successful in this program, communication is the key. Let us know, like I said before, if you're going to be absent to any program or event. And now, Melinda will talk about the commitment from our parents.
Hello, I'm Melinda, and the UBMS advisor. We do ask our parents and guardians to make a big commitment to help our students. We need to have you transport them. Now, some of our far outlying schools, we can provide a van for, but for all the other schools, we need you to be able to bring them on the one Saturday a month and to their summer academies to pick up. So transportation is critical to get them here. Sometimes students carpool with other people coming from their schools. When we do our 6-week summer programs, that would be dropping them off on a Sunday evening and collecting your student on Fridays at noon. The Saturdays would be like 9:30 a.m. here on campus. It's just across from the parking garage, and pick up at 2:45. We will be going to the schools one time a month, so we'll be giving a schedule of that when school starts. But do support your child's participation in the program. Make sure that you kind of keep in touch with them about what goals they want to set and like what their plans are for college. Try to schedule summer vacations around the summer academy. We do have some yellow forms that, in case you already know that your student might be having something they have to miss for, but we try to schedule things where they're not missing all of summer academy. Let's see, is that the, and these are the dates of the summer academy, so do try to dodge those if possible. Okay.
Thank you, Melinda. So again, we're kind of giving a recap of all the things that we do. We plan to be fully back operational, back to normal in the fall to do those Saturday academies. And then next summer, we'll have our typical summer academy where we'll have all of our students. So in a typical summer academy, we have our rising sophomores, our rising juniors, and rising seniors all housed together for 5 weeks on campus, and then do the 6th week where we do a actual 3-day, 2-night trip to some cultural area like Kansas City or St. Louis or Dallas. But of course, this summer, we're kind of in a transitional period. So we actually have to do this in smaller groups. So for 2021, we're going to be doing what we call kind of a hybrid model. Lacey pointed the COVID Summer Academy, I guess. So we're still sort of in transition doing that. But this is going to allow us to still have some on-campus time, which we feel like is so important. We're so excited to have you all here face-to-face because it just starts to feel a little bit more like normal. And so that's what we're all hoping to get back to. But we will have a little bit of virtual still. We know you're very tired of that. But the good news is we are going to be together on campus, at least in our different cohort groups. So you all will be part of the Summer Academy Rising Juniors. So we don't want to call you sophomores anymore. We want to call you juniors because in the summer, you're going to be going into your junior year. And so your dates this summer on campus, you'll move in on Sunday, June 27th, and you'll stay through the weekend all the way until July 10th. We'll talk about that, how that's going to look on your schedule. But prior to coming on campus, you will have a little bit of virtual time. So 3 weeks will be virtual. It'll be June 7th through June 25th. And you all go in a kind of a weird one because you'll do virtual for 3 weeks, on campus for 2 weeks, and then virtual for your final week. But those virtual times, again, we're going to kind of make those a little bit less intensive than it will be when you're on campus with your academics. Our plan is to have you focus on your ACT prep. So that's what your virtual learning is going to be. I know that many of you have already taken our practice ACT and kind of got a taste for the ACT. Some have actually even taken the national ACT test, but we really work hard with our rising juniors during the summer to prepare you for the ACT test. And we're actually going to sign all of you up and make sure that you have a paid for ACT on July 17th. So that's why we're doing so much preparation for that. So we'll give you more information on exactly what time of day you'll do your virtual learning part, but it'll only be, I think you were looking at probably like 50-minute per day commitment as far as actually being somewhere on time and doing that. But you will also do some modules on your own. But that's going to prepare you for the ACT. You'll spend 2 weeks doing math, ACT prep, 2 weeks doing English reading, and 2 weeks doing science. That's going to help prepare you, give you a nice taste of that. Like I said, most of you have already taken that practice ACT with us and gotten that done. But this is going to give you more intensive of that. And then when you're actually on campus, if you'd like to just take a quick look, can I go ahead and go over this now, Lacey, the schedule? Okay, you'll allow it? Okay, thank you. And then I'll come back to where we're going to be staying, because that's important too. But you should have this nice blue, monochrome blue, different colors of blue on here. So if you look on one side, it should say for you, you're going to be week 4 on campus. So your first 3 weeks are virtual. Then you all will actually move into the residence hall, and we'll be in Futrall Hall, which we'll talk about here in just a moment. But you'll be on campus beginning June 27th. So you'll move in between 4 and 5 p.m. on that Sunday. So go ahead and circle that. That's a big day. That's where you're going to be moving into the residence hall. And then the next day, you'll actually start your on-campus classes. And so you'll actually do, when you get here, you'll continue on your ACT prep, but we'll also add in an English class for you and also your science research or your STEM class. So those of you who remember the Bates that you've worked with virtually last summer and you've been working with on Saturday Academies, they will continue with you. And in fact, while I'm on that subject, is that okay to talk about this part? Okay, I know I've got a lot. So can everybody pull out this green card here? It's kind of a lime green card. I guess it's lime green. Put your name on that. And then over there where it says summer research, there's something called genome hacking and sensing with Pi. Y'all see that? So again, those of you who did stuff last summer and have worked with the Bates or kind of already talked about this, if you're somebody who likes a little bit more biology kind of thing, then you might prefer genome hacking and you'd want to check that as your #1 choice. If you're somebody who's more into programming or doing robotics, you do more of the sensing with Pi stuff. So that's what those 2 different summer research projects. If you have no preference, if you're a new student and don't know what either of those even are, or if you're a returning student and still don't know what either of those are and you have no preference, you can put no preference. But we're going to be splitting you up as juniors into one of those 2 science research projects. So the genome hacking, again, is more biology-based, actually doing genetic and molecular biology. It's really cool stuff. Both of these are great. And then the other one, Sensing with Pi, is actually going to be doing some computer programming and working with robotics and things like that. So if you will pick which one you prefer or just say no preference, and we'll try to put you in the one that you like. But you'll be in either of those STEM classes along with an English class, your ACT prep. That will be your morning classes. And then after lunch each day, either on Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday, you will do your elective. This summer, we just have 2 electives. Normally, we'll have about 5 or 6, but because we're having smaller groups, you will either get to choose art or juggling. So would you please write which one you would prefer? Okay. On the back, is that where you want this? Lacey wants this on the back of the line card. Put art or juggling or no preference. If you put no preference, we get to pick which one you're in. So that's cool. But maybe, equally. So the art class will be a little bit more, I think it's going to be more about sketching and drawing, but if you're more into art. But the juggling one is going to be very fascinating and very fun. That's the one I'm very excited about. So if you're somebody who wants to know, and it's not just about just learning to juggle 3 balls, there's a lot that goes into juggling, a lot more even about the history of it and just the different techniques and even the mathematics that go into juggling. So it's going to be a really fun, we've got a professional juggler that's going to be teaching that class, and then the art class will also be great too. So those are our electives. And the other thing that you'll do in the summer beyond the electives twice a week is our junior seminar, where we'll talk to you about different things. And this will be some of the stuff that will continue on into the academic year, but that'll be things that we're talking about careers and just different things about how to be a better student, how to study more. And we'll also have some special presentations as well during that time, some guest speakers and things. So it's going to be a very fun time for you to do your electives, to learn a lot more and to hear from some great guest speakers. So that's kind of how the academics lay out. And then I'm going to let Lacey say a few things about some. Oh, Lacey wants me to talk about moving in first. Keep me on pace. See, she made this wonderful agenda, and I've already botched it. So here we go. The Future Hall move-in, because that is the first thing you'll do. Again, you all will be moving in on Sunday, June 27th. This is on another card, so hang on to this one. You'll keep this card for sure. This one has got your information on the back. We'll resend this to you. But it's got some things about what to pack, which Lacey will go over in just a moment, what to maybe bring, what to bring, what not to bring. And then again, sometime between 4 and 5, you'll move into the hall. That will be again during that 4 to 5 p.m. time. And Future Hall, we actually won't take a look at it today, but if you want to, now that you have your map, as you're leaving here, you might take a drive-by and see that. You can also always go online to the University Housing website and actually do like a virtual tour of the residence hall, which is kind of nice. You can see what the rooms look like. Also, Lacey, do you want to say a few things just about roommate right here and about how that will work?
Yeah, so I was going to talk a little bit about our activities and then a little bit more about the residence hall and what it'll be like living on campus. So Keith kind of laid out our class schedule that he and Ms. Hodges have been working so hard on and getting all that coordinated. We have an amazing instructor staff ready for the summer. And then I appreciate Keith really empowering me to plan some activities for this summer. You know, we're in this COVID time and we want to follow all restrictions and be safe, but sometimes the restrictions are a little fuzzy. And so Keith has been like, go for it. We need to have some fun. We need to have some fun activities. So we're going to get to do some stuff this summer. We have a few activities planned throughout the week as far as going to the hyper gym and working out or playing in the pool. We're also going to be getting off campus a couple of times. We're going to be going to Fast Lanes and also to Top Golf to do some activities there and eat some yummy food. I've never been to Top Golf before, but I hear it's fun, and they're like, you don't have to be a master golfer. I mean, I'm pretty terrible on the putt-putt course, so I'll be working on my form. But yeah, so we'll get to do that this summer. And then the weekends, I wanted to speak about the weekends. Like we've been talking about, we're actually going to be together over the weekends, unlike our kind of normal summer. So on Saturday, although we're not able to do our 3-day, 2-night overnight trip, we are going to be able to go on a field trip on Saturday. We're going to be going to Branson, to Silver Dollar City and ride on the Branson Bell. And that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm super excited. I'm ready to take a lot of selfies with y'all because I'm going to be living my best life. I hope there's some cloggers there. I love cloggers. So that'll be a fun day. And then Sunday, that's going to be July the 4th. So that's going to be kind of a chill day in the residence hall. We'll have some personal recreation time in the morning, and then we're planning to go to a movie in the afternoon and then do mentor family activities in the evening. So this is kind of a time, there are these yellow forms in your packet for absence requests. We hope that everybody is able to stay on campus for that weekend, but we also know it's a special weekend for families. And so if it's a time that you're going to be checking out to do a family activity or checking out to go to church or something like that, just go ahead and fill that out and let us know so we can expect that you aren't going to be there at that time. Or if you're wanting to wait until you get home or plans get closer to time, we will have these forms available all the way up until the summer, and then throughout the summer, we always just have a big pile of them. So just fill it out whenever you kind of know your plans. Yes, and then we'll be moving out on that following Saturday. We'll have activities throughout the next week. And then after we move out, we're going to have a grab and go barbecue situation. So we're going to be catering in some barbecue, and it's going to be at the gardens on campus. And so we'll send you a map for that where you can say all of your see you laters for the summer and have some yummy barbecue after we move out. So those are some of the activities we're planning. But thinking about living in the residence hall, living on campus. So you have this lime green card. We ask about housing, about if you want a roommate or not. So typically you're required to have a roommate at Upward Bound, but if this is our COVID summer, as I have dubbed it. I didn't realize I was giving it a name, but I have. And we have space for everybody to have a single room so we can maintain social distancing and do all that. But I always say, if I was staying in the residence hall, I would be a little bit afraid that it was haunted. And so I would need Vicki to be my roommate to make sure if there's a little ghosty that she can keep me safe. So if you prefer to have a roommate, you can check that box and put who you want your roomie to be. If both of you put that you want each other, then we'll put you in a room together. But if not, our plan is for everybody to have a single room. So that'll be on there. There's also a place for your t-shirt size and also any dietary restrictions. Dietary restrictions are not the same as dietary preferences. I prefer not to have mushrooms on my pizza. That is a dietary preference. My aunt cannot eat shellfish or she will blow up like a balloon. That is a restriction. But if you're a vegetarian or vegan, we like to be able to accommodate that, or if you have any food allergies, we do the best we can. So the Upward Bound programs were hosted by the University of Arkansas, and we have some of our own office space, but we don't really use any of that in the summer. We're using other people's space. We're living in the residence halls, all of our classrooms. Right now we're in an engineering building. Whenever we're in the dining hall, that's dining hall space. So we are guests at the University of Arkansas and all the spaces that we're using this summer. And I have to let y'all know, Upward Bound has an amazing reputation. We get to use spaces and we get to do things that other groups don't get to do because we are known as a group on campus that is respectful and takes care of spaces. And so we just want to maintain that good reputation that, we don't leave trash everywhere. Whenever we're walking through hallways to our classes, we're being respectful of other classes going on, all that kind of stuff. So, and we know that you guys will help us maintain our reputation. Also in your packet, you should have a handbook. If you're a new student, you'll have a student handbook as well as our summer handbook. And I'm not going to go over that in depth because it gets kind of into nitty-gritty stuff and details that you may know or you can read on your own. But there's always 3 rules for the summer that I like to point out that we take very seriously because it enables us to keep our program running like it runs. So we have kind of 3 that are big ones that if you can't follow these rules, you're just not a good fit for the Upward Bound program. And we don't have a lot of problems with this, but the first one is that no bullying, no harassment. We're kind to each other. We don't bully people. We don't call people out, all that kind of stuff. No hateful type of language, discriminatory language. We take that very seriously. The second thing we take very seriously is that no drugs, alcohol, or nicotine in the residence halls. We generally don't have any problems with that, but it's very important to us that we maintain that university policy as well as make Upward Bound a safe place for everybody. And the third thing is that our residence hall is divided, the floors are divided by gender. And so you will not be allowed on the floors of the opposite gender. That's a very important one for us, and making sure that we can stay safe. So those are kind of, I hate using the phrase zero tolerance, but those are our big zero tolerance ones that are located in your handbook. Attendance, we talked about kind of an absence request form this summer. We're only going to be physically together for 2 weeks, so as much as you can be there, absolutely, please be there. If you are part of extracurriculars, where maybe you have practices or things like that, let us know. We'll work with you. We'll also work with your coaches. If you have practices or weightlifting or running, everything you guys do, make sure your instrument is on pitch, you learn your music, you can lift all the pounds. A lot of times your coaches or sponsors will work with us to make sure that you can get as much of your upper bound experience as possible while still doing everything that you need to do for your extracurriculars. So the important thing is just to continue communicating with us, because we can work with anybody, and we can make it work for you as long as you're communicating with us. What to bring? So Keith said this is listed on your card, but we just wanted to go over it really quickly. You're going to need an alarm clock. You're going to have to wake up. You're going to need something to put on the bed. So there is a twin size bed in your room, but you need to bring sheets and blankets or a sleeping bag. You want towel and washcloth because it is hot and it is humid and y'all get stanky over the summer. So we're going to maintain that good hygiene, all of your toiletries. So, make sure you have all of that. There are washers and dryers in the residence halls that don't cost anything to use, although you do need your own laundry detergent. So if you're planning to do laundry, let me know. I'll bring you some of my laundry. Backpack rain gear. We have the upper bound purse where it seems like the first day of classes, it's always some kind of summer rainstorm. So bringing an umbrella or a raincoat or something like that is always a good idea. Flip-flops to wear in the shower so you're not sharing everybody's foot funk. You are allowed to bring a microwave and a refrigerator. There are also like full-size refrigerators and also a microwave in the residence hall in the kitchen area that you are welcome to use. But if you're like, I just need my 5:30 a.m. popcorn for some reason, you can bring a microwave. We do have calculators and laptops available for you to check out and use, but if you have your own, definitely you can bring those. Things to leave at home. We say video games and televisions. We know a lot of video games are played on computers now anyway, but our goal at Upper Bound is that if you're playing a video game or something like that, that is in some way like building community and that you're doing it with other people at Upper Bound, where if you brought your own television or video game console, you may be tempted to kind of just hang out in your room by yourself. The rest of these are kind of rules from housing and residence life here at the University of Arkansas. Don't bring any hot plates or cooking appliances. There is a kitchen area in the residence hall that we can use during our personal recreation time. Also, no candles or incense. The hot plate thing also includes candle warmers. So those are a fire hazard. And then no bicycles, rollerblades, or skateboards, just because you're not supposed to use those on campus on the sidewalks anyway, so we don't want anybody to get in trouble for that. So then we have paperwork. So we've talked about some of this, and for those of you that are returners, you may not have all of these, but we wanted to put all the paperwork that our new students will need to return. So you may not have all of this in your packet. So there is a commitment agreement that's on the last page of the summer handbook, so you can just kind of pull that out and sign it. So all the papers that you're keeping, you can keep in your red folder, and then all the ones that you're giving back to us, you can put in this white envelope, and we'll collect them at the table outside. We also have prepaid envelopes, so if there's something on here that you're like, oh, I don't have our insurance information handy right now, I'm going to need to mail that back to you. If you're new students, we're needing some eligibility verification. I wanted to mention that. So for those of you that are new students, whenever you applied, you gave us some information about your family's educational background as well as your income. And you basically like did an online signature. But just for our records, we also need that physical signature. We do ask for some of your tax information. And we're asking for taxable income, not gross income. So I think that may have been, we may have gotten some incorrect information the first go around, but that'll just really help us meet our grant requirements and make sure that everybody is eligible for the program. So yeah, so new students, we'll be spending some time at the Boys and Girls Club here in Fayetteville, and so they are awesomely giving you guys free memberships to the Boys and Girls Club. So you're able to go by there and swim in their pool and take advantage of that outside of Upper Bound. But for Upper Bound, you have to fill out that form. There's that lime green summer information card. where you put your science preference on the front, or you could also put no preference. And then on the back of the card, where you wrote in your elective choice, which is art or juggling, or if you have no preference. Those absence request forms, we have some extra ones at the table if anybody is going to need more than one. But yeah, any questions? Or do you want to talk some more about forms?
Yeah, I'll just keep talking about forms
Okay,
to make
cool.
sure it's not too confusing. But here's the, for those of you who are not new students, if you're not a new student, you don't have that many forms. So what's good is, like Lacey said, what we want you to do is take your white envelope and put your lime green form in there. We also want you to put that back sheet of your, that was on your Summer Academy handbook. You'll assign that and put that in there. And there's also this lilac form that has like emergency contact information and medical information. If you have that completed, you can go ahead and put that in there as well. And those are the forms that you need to complete. All new students will complete those as well, but for students who are not new, you've completed all the other new paperwork, so you don't have as much to turn in today. If you did have an absence request, you can go ahead and turn that in. And if for any reason you need to mail something to us, you can do that with those return envelopes that are out on the table. You'll want to take with you your move-in card, your schedule, your Summer Academy handbook. That you can keep in your nice red upper bound folder. And like I said, we're going to be telling you a little bit more information about the virtual schedule for you. But our plan right now, again, you'll start your virtual stuff on June the 7th. And we'll give you some time, but it'll be probably about 50 minutes Monday through Friday that we'll kind of have you set aside to do that. And again, we didn't talk about stipend, but I want to go ahead and mention that as well. So here's the good news about doing that virtual Summer Academy part, is that even when you're virtual, you're not here on campus, you're still participating, and you're going to be eligible for stipend. And the good news is this summer we're able to elevate our stipend a little bit, and when you're not here on campus, we're able to give you something called a meal per diem. Altogether, you're going to average out to about $100 per week for every week that you participate, both virtually and in person. So that's kind of a nice thing, right? We could all use that money. Lacey probably use that money, right?
If anybody doesn't want it, just let me know.
Lacey will take it. So, but it's just a nice thing that we're able to do that helps offset some of the just miscellaneous things that you might incur as a student in Upper Bound. Again, everything else is free and paid for, all your meals when you're here, everything else that we do. But that's just a nice incentive for you, and hopefully will keep you on track virtually than when you're here. So that will hopefully be paid out to you money at the very end once we calculate everything that you've done. If you fully participate, that would be a total of $600 at the end of those 6 weeks. So that's very nice. And that would be mailed to you and reward. And of course, you'll continue to get stipends, just like we've been doing during the participation you do during the academic year. So students, again, if you're a current student and you can get all those forms to us. Now, new students, I know we have a handful of them. I might even suggest, if it's okay, Lacey, maybe if you're a new student, we might have you just kind of wait when we dismiss. We can kind of just go over and make sure to answer any questions, because there's so many of these new forms. We want to make sure that you got them or have any questions about those. We also would like to take an opportunity before we dismiss. If there are any questions about the Summer Academy, about move-in, anything we may have not covered that you'd like to hear more about.
Any questions? We also have Doris here, so ¿tienes preguntas? I can speak about 15 Spanish words. All right, well, if you have anything that comes up, obviously you can reach out to us at any point, but for our students that this is your second summer with us, your first in person, you guys are dismissed. You can drop off your paperwork. Oh, yes, a question. Yes. Yes, so those prepaid envelopes, they are available on the table that you checked in at on your way out. And that's also where you'll turn in your white envelope of your completed paperwork. So I think Carson is out there waiting. She's our office worker and she put together these packets for us. So yeah, she'll be out there. So if y'all returners want to go ahead and head out, and any of our brand new students that want to hang out for a minute and make sure we have all of your questions answered.
Yes. Okay, so there's this.
Some of y'all have gotten really tall. Yes. They shouldn't give me a microphone.
I'll go grab it. Didn't chew on it, I don't think. Okay. Right. So can I go back to those? Okay. Okay, I just want to make sure, so new students, I thought I would just go over just to make sure if there's any questions about these, but just to make sure you've got everything turned in. So again, the commitment agreement, there's one of those that was part of your summer one, so it's at the back of that summer handbook. So just make sure you sign that one and put that in. That's the last page of the handbook. There's also a commitment agreement on the other side with your new forms. So just make sure you fill those out. So those are there. Does everybody see those? So let me make sure. So there's one, hopefully that you filled out, that was on the back of this. And then you had another one that was also white, and it said commitment agreement. So make sure you got those two in there. Then the lilac form is this one. This has your emergency contact information and medical information. If for any reason you can't fill out any of these forms today, then that's where you'll send those in later. If it's completed, please go ahead and conclude that one. Then you have another one. This is all of the forms. We apologize for so many, but this is your agreement and consent, or participant authorization and consent form. So fill that one out. It's a gray form, so parents and students sign. Then we also have another one. This allows us to transport students in authorized vehicles. So this is the green form, so fill that one out. Then you have a blue card. This has information like your address, just make sure our contact information is current, you're ready to go. And then I did want to say this one. So you have another one that we require. The Social Security number is something that we do require or need because of our federal guidelines, and when we do some reporting, do know that all this information is kept completely confidential. So that's why we want to put it in that envelope. But we actually only use this for certain reporting to the Department of Education, and also to obtain the Triand reports, which are the Department of Education's transcripts system. And then we also utilize this information to be able to set up the affiliate accounts for the University of Arkansas, which allow you to have an email address and get those privileges by having that affiliate account. So if you'll turn that in. And then Lacey was talking about this one that's called the eligibility verification form. This is just some information we've already gotten from you on your application that we did online, but we need to further verify that with an actual physical signature. And we would like for you to attach a IRS tax document to that. So if you need to send this one back to us, that would be great. And when you do send that form back, it could be either your 2019 or 2020 tax form. Either one will work. So if you haven't already filed your 20s yet, that's okay. You can do the 2019, but it helps to verify that taxable income number. Any questions about that one, let us know. And then everything else, you have the Lime Green and the absence request. Those are all part of the summer program. And then there is the Boys and Girls Club form. So I know that's a lot of stuff. If you have any questions about any of those, let us know. If not, if you feel comfortable, got all the forms, you can drop those off and have a wonderful day. And we'll be back in touch with you again. Be ready to move in middle or actually late July or June for you all. And then we'll be back in touch with you about the virtual part. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Do we have any more forms for the students that are going to have a form on campus?
Yeah, they're out there. They're out on the table. It should be.
That's what I thought, and then.
Is there not any more?
No.
Then you might have to mail one to them
Okay.
if we don't have any more.
I mean, our next group is sophomore.
Yeah, they won't
third,
need
ninth
any.
graders, so I don't think any of our next group will be driving. Oh, okay.
And yes.